Hey guys, today I want to talk about the 10 things that I'll be looking at as a crypto investor. 10 things that I'm really focused on that's going to help direct how I move my money and how I invest into certain projects. So let's get into the video right now. Looking at the coin market cap, looking at the space right now, we are currently at 1.19 trillion market cap globally, so that's nice. Most importantly, let's look at fear and greed. We are at 61. We're in the green phase right now. That's crazy. About a month ago, not even a month ago, while I was on vacation, that's when Gensler filed his lawsuit, and we were, teetering on being in fear. So it's nice to see that with all the, crap that Gensler's up to, we are still focused. We still see the end game. We know the prize, and everyone's pretty focused and still positive with the crypto space. So that's what I like. Looking at the price of Bitcoin, currently at 30,500. So we're still above 30,000. Very nice. Ethereum ticked up a little bit this week over 1,800, so we're at 1,900 now. I like that. And if we look at the big gainers of the week, Litecoin, I'm going to talk about that a little later. Litecoin's up 26.8%. We know that the halving is next month, so people are getting ready for that. Solana's up 13.9%. I'm also going to talk about them for a little bit. Bigger movers. Look at Bitcoin Cash. 56%. That's crazy. 56%. I never got into Bitcoin Cash, but I'll take a look at it. Other than that, big movers. Stellar's up 16%. ETH Classic's up 11.5%. VeChain, I had a video about them earlier this week, up 11.9%. That could be maybe the news of them being listed on Coinbase, but nice to see. I like that project. And that's about as far as big movers go. So now let's get into the 10 things that I'm looking at that I think may help move this market and help control or direct my investments. First, SEC calls BlackRock Fidelity Bitcoin ETF applications inadequate. As soon as this news came out, the market went down a little bit, especially Bitcoin went down. But then I think they read the filing and read SEC's response and figured, hey, this isn't that much of a bad news. They didn't deny it. They just said, hey, clarify some of these things, and we'll review it again. And what's positive about this is normally when you file an ETF, it takes about over a month for the SEC to even review. They reviewed this pretty quickly and said, hey, kind of like, hey, fix this, and then we'll take a look at it again, which is positive in my opinion. What is the issue at hand? So basically, an unnamed source of the SEC doesn't think the Bitcoin ETF applications have been specific enough about how they'll manage a surveillance sharing agreement. The agreement is meant to deter fraud and manipulation by ensuring the fund issuer is monitoring market trading activity, clearing activity, and customer identity. So far, the SEC has said that all Bitcoin ETF applications have fallen short in this regard. So that is the main issue. If anyone could clear this up, I think BlackRock and Fidelity can. So I have no qualms. I think that pretty soon we will have a Bitcoin ETF application approved. But I will be monitoring this to see what's up with the SEC and how they respond to these spot ETF applications. As we see for the past month, there have been a lot of big boys coming in and filing these spot ETFs. ARK Invest is probably the first one. Kathy Wood said she is first on the list. So if anyone's approved, her and her foundation should be first. So we'll see. We'll see. Big things coming, but I'm definitely looking at that. That's number one. Number two is the SEC XRP lawsuit. When is the end date? Some people are predicting this month in July we should have an end date and a final decision on the lawsuit. Now, if this is positive, this is going to do wonders, miracles, specifically for XRP, but for the market in general. If XRP is not declared a security, guys, strap on. It's going to be nice. And one of the attorneys, a top lawyer, he's not involved in the lawsuit, but he's been studying the judge and looking at his background as far as decisions that he's made in the past and how long it normally takes him to render a decision. And he goes on to say that 60% of Judge Torres's summary judgment decision comes within a range of 146 to 330 days. Consequently, 249 days from September 17, 2022, which is the date SEC and Ripple filed their summary judgment motions, could see the ruling come on May 21st, 2023. However, he ruled this date out since it has passed, obviously, and we are in July. He then speculated that the potential ruling date for the SEC lawsuit could be on August 10th, 2023. He came to this conclusion by calculating 330 days, which is the highest period this judge has ever waited to issue a decision from the September 17, 2022 date. So anytime between now and mid-August, I think we're going to get a response on that. So I'm also looking at that because, like I said, if this is positive for, Ripple, it's going to be great for the space. Now, we have to look at the alternative. If it is bad for Ripple, then we might see something. Might be some downtrends. But if anything, still, if Bitcoin you get at a discount, ETH you can get at a discount, your favorite altcoins get at a discount, we need to monitor this. Whether it's good or bad, should definitely pay attention. Next is this. This morning, I've turned on Twitter, crypto Twitter, and I saw this. Then I looked for news articles and something to confirm it, and I can't find anyone to confirm this. But according to this and what you've been seeing on Twitter, I'm sure you've been seeing some of it on YouTube, Gensler is going to resign. Allegedly, he's been notified of an internal investigation, and as a result, he's saying peace. But there's been no confirmation of this. Now, could it happen? I mean, the guy has been on the hot seat for a minute, right? Earlier this year, he was testifying in front of Congress, and he looked like he didn't know what he was talking about when asked, is ETH a security? He cannot answer that question. They asked, yes or no, is ETH a security? And he went on a rant about trying to explain why it could go both ways. That didn't look good. That's first strike number one. Strike two, FTX, Celsius, all of that happened while it was under his watch. He was the head of SEC during this thing, right? So that's not good. And then now, we have the XRP lawsuit that I just talked about. And if you look at everything, it's not looking good for the SEC's case. So you have those 3 strikeouts or 2.5 strikeouts coming, right? Then you have the most recent lawsuits where I felt like he just had to do something to save his skin. Filed a lawsuit against Binance and Coinbase, declaring various project securities. So if this guy were to resign, I don't think it'd be the worst thing for the crypto space. Maybe they'll put someone else back in there that can head the SEC and basically give us a framework in the U.S. for regulation. And it won't be so much, animosity. It seems like this guy really doesn't like, crypto. And funny, before he got elected or, given this position, he seemed like a pro-crypto guy. Everyone's excited about it. But something happened after that FTX implosion. He's just been all-out war against crypto. Could it be his relationship between him and SBF and family and MIT and all of that? I don't know. But definitely it would be a breath of fresh air if someone else came in and this was true. So I'll be monitoring this month to see what's his status and see how he's going, see what else is up his sleeve. But it'd be nice to see if they parted ways. Next is the interest rates in the U.S. Jerome Powell was speaking in Madrid this past week, and he mentioned that he does foresee 2 more rate hikes in the U.S. Now, we were very optimistic because the last meeting, Fed meeting, he did not have a rate hike. And people thought, or analysts thought, that maybe that was it for the year. And maybe there'd be even pivots where leading towards rate cuts. And if that happened, it'd be great for the stock market, good for risk assets. But according to this meeting that he had last week, it sounds like he has 2 more rate hikes coming up. And even that, if looking at some data that we got last week in the U.S., the market seems pretty strong, which is probably not favored to him cutting rates or stopping rates. He wants to stop that. Data released last week or Thursday said that new claims for U.S. unemployment benefits unexpectedly fell last week, while first quarter gross GDP was much stronger than reported in earlier estimates. So all that hints that the economy is still strong. The interest rates and everything that he's doing is working because inflation is coming down according to the data that they're putting out. But the economy is still strong. So, the market's probably reacting that there's a chance that there'll be another hike coming up. And now it looks like 40% is rated as far as a chance of a further increase. So we'll see. But if that happens and there's 2 more increases, that won't be good for risk assets. Not favorable for that, but we'll monitor that. And I'll be monitoring that for my investments, stocks and crypto. Next is Celsius. We know that was the embattled centralized exchange that had some issues last year. But apparently a judge has ruled that they have to sell some of their assets and some big names. And they hold quite a few of these big names. They hold ADA, Matic, Sol. And they own, let me go ahead and kind of break it down how much they own. So according to court documents, Celsius control 90 million Matic, 103 million ADA, 161,000 Sol, and 3.3 million Link, and also 1.8 million Polkadot, 200,000 Litecoin, and about 106 Aave tokens. So how is this going to be released? How are they going to sell it? I don't know. But chances are, I would say, due to the unclarity as far as Sol, ADA, SEC claiming that they're securities, that maybe they'll try to unleash that and, sell that for profits in order to pay their debts. So that's something to monitor as well. If the price, I don't know that they'll release it all at once or how that's going to impact the price, but I will be monitoring this, noting that if the price comes down to ADA or Sol, that it's not maybe anything that has to do with the project, but it could be, some of this pressure here. But something to monitor, and I'll be looking at that as well. Now, Polygon 2.0, a little bit of good news. So their roadmap, they came out with Polygon 2.0. They announced this. It's very interesting. There's something called restaking. So once they implement this, you'll be able to stake your Matic tokens on multiple platforms. So, normally you stake it to a native wallet, and, every some odd time you get another or extra coin. Here, you could do it, times 2, times 3. And then they have something where they're implementing L2 chains. It's funny because they're already really in L2, but they're going to have side chains on top of that. That's going to help with scalability and with the use of ZK rollups or zero knowledge. So Polkadot is doing big things, not to mention all of the partnerships that they have. I can't name them all, but they're pretty big, and they're big on the NFT space. So Polkadot, Polygon, I don't talk about Polygon Matic much, but as far as the price goes, they're down right now. They're around 60 something cents. Still a very positive L2 on Ethereum. They have some competition with Arbitrum and OP, but Polygon is not to be slept on, and this Polygon 2.0 is something to monitor. And, for the month of July, I'll be looking at Polygon, see what's happening. Again, they're still named in a lawsuit as a security, but it's good to see that they're still working. They're not letting anything stop them, and they're continuing on. Next, we have Solana. Solana. You either love Solana or you hate it. And a lot of people, because of, the network going down a few times, relationship with SBF, and, maybe FTX kind of inflated the price of Solana, their all-time high of over 200 last bull market. A lot of people don't like it. But you can't escape the daily active users that the chain has. It's up there with Polygon and Ethereum. Top 5 all the time for this past year. Then this looks like happened recently. Solana surpassed ETH as far as NFT volume sales. Do you hear that? Surpassed ETH. That's crazy. So Solana had about 25 million in sales, while ETH had 24 million in sales. And then you see the list under there. Granted, right now we're still, some say in a bear market, some say start of a bull market, so NFT sales are kind of low right now, but still, this is something that you should probably pay attention to. They haven't had any network outages in a while. They're surpassing ETH and NFT sales. As far as daily active users, they're up there. Their TVL's climbing. Solana is something to pay attention to, guys. That's all I'm saying. But I'll be monitoring it for the month of July for sure. Then we have some possible infighting between ADA head Charles Hoskinson and Vitalik. And it comes to Vitalik saying that he does not stake all his ETH due to his high regard for security or high standards for security. And Charles is saying, wait a minute, we do it here at ADA. Why can't you do it? So there must be something wrong, something that's concerning with ETH. And maybe it's not all it's cracked up to be. So they're back and forth, and Charles goes into sometimes with XRP Army and different projects because they come at ADA, but he always defends ADA. So it's something to look at. ADA is still top 5, I believe, as far as staked. Still a project that I believe in, but this is something that I want to take a look at as far as Vitalik and how he keeps responding to him not staking most of his ETH. But that's I found that very interesting. For the record, I like ADA and ETH, and that's why I'm paying attention to this. Next, we have Kraken. Kraken has ordered to turn over its users' information to the IRS. And basically, they go on to say that the IRS said that it wants information for Kraken accounts that did over or at least $20,000 in cryptocurrency exchanges in a single year. And they're looking from 2016 to 2020. So we'll see what happens. And the reason I'm paying attention to this, because is this the start of maybe starts with Kraken, Then you go to Coinbase, then you go to Gemini. Something to pay attention to. And, within the past week, I believe the president in the US said that, as far as crypto goes, he plans to, all the loopholes that they had as far as tax deductions go, he wants to close that, wants to collect more taxes. So could this be the start of something bad? So that's something that I'll be paying attention, and I hope you pay attention to it as well. Lastly, we have Litecoin. Litecoin has their halving, and the halving will be next month. So 33 days to be exact. And because of that, we've seen a rally in Litecoin. Let's go back to CMC, and you'll see we talked about it earlier. Litecoin, I want to say, is in the top 10 now. Can you believe that? Litecoin is in the top 10. And if we look at the 7-day activity, you look at it's up 26.6%. Now, I made a video about Litecoin about a month ago, and I didn't get much reaction to it. A lot of people because saying it's a relic and it's all of that. If there's anything that I want you guys to pay attention to in investment, is YouTube people like me, all over, whoever you listen to, maybe people in the space for a long time, they'll say whatever they want about a project. Always do your own research. Always do your own research and come up with your own conclusions. Because if you're sleeping on Litecoin, I mean, you see that it was about $80 and now it's about $111. And, supply is a thing. And I get it. Charlie Lee, the founder, sold all of his, his Litecoins, and there's hardly any activity on his Twitter feed. And maybe he's not the most likable leader, but you can't ignore the fact that they do have a set supply, and big businesses, whenever they think of Bitcoin, they think of Litecoin. So these ETFs and a lot of these funds always include Litecoin. PayPal, Venmo, any of these on and off exchanges, Litecoin is considered one of the ones. And not to mention that it's going to be deemed a commodity. It's not a security. So don't sleep on Litecoin. I've never slept on Litecoin. I will be keeping an eye on it. And chances are I wouldn't mind accumulating some. I think next bull market, this is one of the safest ones. Maybe you won't get 100x, but if I were to put $100 in the Litecoin, I'm pretty sure during the next bull run, I'll probably 3 times my money for sure. But Litecoin's one that I like as well. So in conclusion, these are the things that I'm thinking about during the crypto space in July and so on. And I think it's a good time to be in this space. Again, if you're following me, if you're following other guys on crypto, guys and gals, crypto YouTube, Twitter, and you're just learning about the space, we're still early, so early. And if you stay focused, do your own research on the projects that you like, sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. So guys, thank you for spending your Sunday with me. Hope you enjoyed the rest of your holiday weekend. And until next time, bye.